How to insure the modern family. Fred has it all: an uncooperative ex-wife, kids in college, cars, boats, expensive gun collection, and a lakefront home with all the toys. Now he has invited his girlfriend to move in with all her possessions and her kids, ages 13 and 15. What could go wrong? Let us count the ways in this 9-part entertaining and educational tutorial series on personal lines coastal property. This is a How to Insure training course. The How to Insure online training courses are a practical, hands-on program that explores the insurance needs of a customer. Each course follows a producer as he or she uses the risk evaluation system to work with a client in a specific industry. These courses are risk specific, not coverage specific, and are designed to be introductory, not in-depth. They can help a producer, CSR, and others in an agency gain the confidence. The property exposure. Property exposure includes the dwelling, its contents, and any related non-business structures, including contents located on the premises. Coastal property is subject to climate damage in good and bad weather. If the property is oceanfront, the deterioration is more rapid due to the salt content in the water. Damp conditions and high water tables require contractors with knowledge of the area to prevent structural problems. Inadequacy of below-ground construction increases the likelihood of water damage and mold problems. Maintenance is a priority since structures can deteriorate rapidly due to exposure to water and wind. As coastal property is often located far from adequate public fire protection and inaccessible by fire equipment, any fire may result in a total loss. Existing water sources may be unavailable for fighting a fire. Isolated properties can also be subject to vandalism and theft. Central station alarm systems and caretakers can be used to reduce some of the isolation issues. The premises should be built to current code and have the recommended protections such as shutters, vegetation trimmed away from the structures, and construction appropriate for the area. Piers, docks, boathouses, and other smaller structures in the water or by the waters can be swept away even in minor flooding and wind conditions if not properly secured. Inland marine exposure includes the standard homeowners exposure of antiques, electronics, furs, and jewelry, but will also include equipment used to maintain and care for a boat or yacht and other water-related equipment. Boats and yachts exposure may be a canoe, a pontoon boat, a fishing boat, or a yacht. Many coastal property owners own a vessel and dock it on their owned premises or at a nearby marina. Boats and yachts represent property and liability exposure whether they are stored in or out of the water. Some vessels may be transported over land or by water during the off-season to be used at other locations. Personal liability exposure is heightened because of the potential for water-related incidents. Although owners may not be responsible for injuries involving natural bodies of water, they may be held responsible for injury due to the additions they make, such as piers, docks, swings, ladders, and other equipment used in and around the water. Pools, trampolines, tree houses, playground equipment, non-licensed motorized vehicles, and similar attractions must be secured to prevent young children from gaining unsupervised access. Automobile liability exposures are from household members driving owned, rented, or borrowed vehicles, or from loaning their vehicles to others outside the household. It is important to know who drives the vehicles, their driving experience, and record. The type of vehicle, miles on the road each year, and type of driving must be considered when evaluating the exposure. Younger drivers have significantly higher rates of accidents and fatalities than most drivers. However, older drivers may continue to drive even when their faculties and reflexes are impaired. Any driver impaired by alcohol or drugs is especially hazardous. Coastal property owners may tow boats under difficult road conditions. The vehicle used to tow a boat should be properly equipped, The boat trailer should have the appropriate markings and signaling devices, and all tie-down straps should be checked regularly for wear and damage. Here is the minimum recommended coverage for coastal property: homeowners policy, flood policy, wind hail policy, personal auto policy, personal umbrella policy, boat owner yacht policy, and other coverages to consider: personal inland marine policy. So, now that she has the basic knowledge of the industry, Margaret is familiar with the Accord forms, but she wants something with more meat that is specific to the coastal property's operations. So she chooses the Coastal Property Questionnaire. She considers the minimum recommendations, but then makes changes based on her knowledge of Ginger and Fred. She builds the questionnaire and reviews each section carefully in order to be comfortable with the questions she's asking. In the following videos, we will explain the why on many of the questions so you will be better equipped to share your knowledge when you are completing an application with a client. So, this concludes lesson number 1, risk overview, in this training series. The next topic is general information.